Good evening. Bershus Rosh HaYeshiva, Bershus Rabbi Berg, Bershus Kol Rabbanim. It is extremely exciting and humbling to be here representing the United States of America on behalf of Ambassador Friedman, who wishes he could be here this evening, on behalf of President Trump and the entire administration, a hearty mazel tov to the Rosh HaYeshiva and to Aish, an institution which plays a critical role, believe it or not, in the strengthening of the U.S.-Israel relationship, and let me tell you why. When you come to a place like this, thereabouts by September 1st, for me it has tremendous emotion and tremendous feeling, because we got off the plane 3 years ago, mid-August, to embark on a journey that we did not know what it would be and did not know where it would lead. Not dissimilar to most of the young men and young women who come to Aish. And we sat and we were told that before our kids entered Israeli schools, speaking a language that I wish that from yeshiva in America they had known much better, but they did not know, that the day before yeshiva would start here, there's a minhag to go to the kotel. So the very first day that my kids ever went to the kotel was on the last day of August, prior to their first day in Israeli schools. And we were just down there. We drove into the kotel. It's one of the perks of the jobs. That's another thing in common with Aish Torah. Does everybody gets to drive to the kotel here? No, not? Okay, so it's a perk for the Rosh HaYeshiva and Rabbi Berg and myself. And we go to the wall, and my kids are awe-inspired as they're supposed to be. We actually came to Aish first and did the note-writing thing. I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry we were here. And we turned on a shir to listen to in the car ride back. And the shir shared the following Dvar Torah that resonated so deeply with me. And I was interested what the common denominator would ever be and what audience I would have to have the opportunity to share this Dvar Torah. And lo and behold, I think 3 years almost to the date, it's so fitting. In this past week's parsha, we're commanded about the laws of kashrut, of kashrus. And it stipulates regarding fish that you cannot have fish. If you have fish, they must have both scales and fins. And Rabbi Shlita, who spoke before, this is actually his Dvar Torah. So I hope he didn't say this. That would be awkward. Good, fantastic. I'm America. I can say what I want when I want. That's fine. That has scales and fins. And the question is, every fish that has scales also has fins. So why does the Torah need to tell you that you can only eat fish that have both scales and fins? Wouldn't it be enough just to say that it has scales? Because by definition, if it has scales, it would also have fins. So why does the Torah explicitly command us that the fish that we eat must have scales and fins? And the answer that was given originally by the Lubavitcher Rabbi and expounded upon by Rav Shlita was the following thing, that Rabbi Akiva once described the life of a Torah Jew as a fish. And just as a fish cannot live without water, a Jew cannot live without Torah. And this, we're all familiar with the story of Rabbi Akiva and the fish and living in the water. So the commandment of what it means to be a fish is not just in terms of kashrus, it's telling us as a Jew what we need in order to survive in this world. We need scales, but even though if scales come with fins, we actually need to know that we have fins as well. So why? So the Lubavitcher Rabbi described that the scales is the shield, it's the house, it's the control that we put around ourselves. So critical, the things that we learn in our home, the things that we learn in our shul, the things that we learn in the Beis Medrash, the things that we learn in yeshiva, that's the scale that builds who we are. So there is no flexibility in terms of what is right and what is wrong. But we need to move from place to place. And that's where the fins come in. And those fins require to take the object that has scales and to move you from place to place. Always within the boundaries of those scales, always within the Dalet Amos of halacha. But how do you move from place to place? And that was what the Lubavitcher Rabbi explained in terms of understanding the scales and the fins. And Rav Shlita commented, how fitting would it be that Chabad pointed this out, as a Chabad house is a place of scales wherever you go in the world, as people navigate with their fins from place to place. Now, I think that is apropos, but nowhere near as apropos as the United States Embassy. Do you know what an embassy does? I've just had the privilege of discussing with the Rosh HaYeshiva's father, Shlita. That an embassy, if you are an American, anywhere in the world, you just have to understand this. When I stand up and speak on behalf of America, it is not a pride nor a privilege that I take lightly. Anywhere in the world that you go with an American passport, if you need something, you call. We don't ask who you voted for. We don't ask if you voted. We don't even care if you paid your taxes. Are you an American? And then we will help you. Later on, we care if you paid your taxes. Are you an American? And we will help you. How true is that for Eisha Torah? Are you a Jew? Are you looking? Are you lost? Can you be found? Then we will help you. And Eisha Torah provides the scales, the house, the Dalet Amos for so many thousands of people who've built tens of thousands of homes and communities as they take their journey with the fins that guide them from place to place. But a fish without scales, regardless of how great their fins are, is not kosher. A fish with only scales that doesn't have the fins to get from place to place isn't going to go anywhere. So on behalf of the United States of America, on behalf of Ambassador Friedman, on behalf of all people who care deeply about what you guys do, may you be blessed to create people with scales that will be able to withstand even the strongest hurricanes, but fins that will be able to guide them in even the darkest nights and the most glorious of days. And Mirz Hashem, your mission statement should come true so very soon. It is an honor to meet the Rosh HaYeshiva. It is an honor to have this yeshiva under his direction, and we hope that our partnership continues to strengthen from strength to strength. Mazel tov.